Welcome to season 9 of the award-winning Retail Tea Break podcast. My name is Melissa Moore, the Retail Advisor. I'm a retail educator, trainer, and retail conference MC. Each week, as your host, I'll be joined by industry experts, retailers, and brands to dispel the myths, share their knowledge, and give you an insight into the retail industry. You can listen back to previous seasons on your favourite podcast platform. And while you're there, do me a favour, hit that follow button so that you get to listen first every week. You can watch us now over on YouTube and subscribe to the Retail Tea Break. You've no idea how useful that is to ensure that I can keep bringing you the content that you love. And remember, sharing is caring in the retail industry. Share an episode across any of your platforms with your network. And if you're on social media, tag me, Melissa Moore, and the Retail Tea Break podcast. So in the meantime, grab that cup of tea, sit back and enjoy season 9 of the Retail Tea Break podcast. Today, I'm joined by a retailer with a career spanning more than 35 years. His dedication and passion for the industry has led him from butchery to supermarket fresh foods. His key areas of expertise include fresh food, delivering exceptional customer service, and maintaining a relentless focus on providing outstanding value to his customers. Throughout his career, today's guest has been widely recognized for his strong leadership abilities, effective people management, and he consistently drives team success and ensures that operations are closely aligned with strategic organizational goals, making him a standout leader in the retail industry. Thomas Ennis, CEO of Thomas Ennis Group, welcome to the Retail Tea Break podcast.
Thanks for having me.
I am thrilled that we get to have this chat. You have a phenomenal amount of not only retail experience, but people experience. But look, before we kick off in the age-old fashion of the Retail Tea Break podcast, in the time that it takes to boil a kettle, which I am told is about 2 minutes, tell us a bit more about your background in the industry.
Oh God, well, yeah, 35 years. When you mentioned that, fuck, I felt old. I'm very lucky. I do what I really, really enjoy. So I have 4 kids and I try and drill that into them, whatever career or job or whatever path you take. And make sure you enjoy it because you're going to be doing it a lot. So I really enjoy what I'm doing. Yeah, I left school at 15, got into butchery, dealing with people. I had great mentors around me, and that was always a way through all my career. I was very lucky. I gravitated to good people, and which in return they were very good to me. I love working in the public. I know that can be very challenging, but I like dealing with the public. I absolutely love retailing. I love it. I love the challenge of it, which is currently is probably the most challenging it's been in the 20 years I've worked for myself. But I love that because it just makes it kind of challenges you to be a better version of yourself in relation to how you deal with what's coming. So yeah, retailing is brilliant. I would advise and suggest to everybody to get involved in it. It's a great industry. There's great people around it, and I have nothing but good things and positive things to say about retailing.
Oh, I love that, Thomas. And I wholeheartedly agree, as anyone that listens to the podcast will know, like
Yeah,
you have made such an incredible career out of this industry. So
yeah,
completely agree. It's an amazing place to be. I think we're very lucky to work in this industry. You mentioned mentors there. I'm
yeah.
fascinated by that. How important were they in your early days?
I was a little bit nuts when I was younger, so yeah, it was great having good people around me that kind of guided you. I boxed as a sport, so that I had great people. A guy called Mick Dowling was my sports mentor, which was very good to be. Still a good friend of me now. Really, really good, just to guide you that little bit of give you a nudge in the direction you should be going. And then when I worked at a guy called John Collins, who was the manager, and he's still the manager in the place I worked in 35 years ago in Moore Street. He was very good to me. And it wasn't really only until afterwards when I looked back the influence these people had on my life. There's another couple of guys I've mentioned in the past quite a bit. John Fury, Morris Smith was very good to me. Real good retail people. Pat Kelly and Super Quinn. And then I had the likings of a John Clancy then in the Spar world that was very good to me. David Bagnall was very good to me in my early days as well. And these are people that are still around now. I decided to listen to them. I'm sure they were just as good to other people, and some of them probably didn't listen. I kind of chose to listen to these people. There was times I didn't, and I made that mistake when I opened my second shop. We got great advice off a guy, a fellow called Peter Keeley. I got great advice off him, and I didn't listen to him. You have to listen to these people if you want to learn and be mentored, if that's the word you want to use. You have to be open to listen to the advice they're giving you because they're giving it to you because they've learned and they've been on that journey.
That's
I'm
great
very,
advice,
very, very
Thomas. And
lucky. Yeah, I'm involved in a mentoring now with the Irish government. It's called Back for Business. So it's returning immigrants coming back to Ireland. and helping them navigate through, which is a very complex part of the setting up of your own business. So that's free. And I love that paying forward and giving back to people who do listen and who want to learn and what have you. So I think it's important as business people or retailers or in any industry that you pay forward and that you give back your time, to people that will listen. I've often said no to people because they're not listening. I won't waste my time with anybody. But if you're willing to listen and you're willing to learn, I have no problem sharing my experiences with people.
Fantastic. I love that. And it's so important, as you say, to pay it forward in this industry, to
Yeah.
nurture the next generation. As you say, whether it's retailers or business people, we need them around us. On that, then, can you remember what was your first real lesson from a leadership perspective? So, you then almost as that mentor or as that leader in the industry?
God, that's a good question. The first person I seen who had great leadership qualities and who made me want to work for myself was a guy called John Fury. I was managing a shop. It was a super value at the time in Barn Hall in Leixlip. And he'd be in beside me, packing the fruit and veg, packing the shop, working it. And I remember looking at him saying, God, this guy owns this place and he's in here and he's doing this. And I just thought he led by example. He walking around, he's picking up the paper off the ground. Fergal Quinn was a great mentor and a great leader. The way you just leadership qualities can be anybody really. If you look at what they do, how they carry themselves, and as I said, it could be that thing, not passing the by, picking her up. It could be small little things, checking bins. It's never a big thing that they do that you go, wow, they're great leaders. It's the small little things, how they interact with people, not just management, how they interact with sales assistants, colleagues, people in the car park or whatever, how they interact with people in a natural way, not put on. And I think they kind of showed leadership qualities that I liked and I aligned. I've worked with people that weren't great at that. And I remember when I opened the Marion Row, I kind of had said, what do I want to be? What type of leader or owner do I want to be? And I picked the leadership qualities from the good people. And I didn't want to be the leadership from the people that weren't as good, that didn't show the qualities that I thought aligned with what I wanted.
It's a great thing to do. And actually, it's wonderful to do at that stage. I think we almost think of young people going, right, what do you want to be when you grow up? Pick those qualities now. But
Yeah.
it's a great thing to do throughout your career. And obviously, it stood you very well, which is a fantastic bit of advice there for those that are listening. You're obviously leading at this stage an enormous team of people. Some of them, should I say, have been with you right from the start, which I think speaks for itself. Recruitment retention, we know in this industry, is such a struggle. It's such a battlefield at the moment. How do you do it? What's it like for you in the group?
Yeah, I'm very lucky. Of most of my key people are with me since we started. Sandra McCormick's the general manager. She's with me since day one, actually. Joanna Staron's involved with me as well. It's a long, long time. And even my FD, Gary, he's with me 10 years. So we have good retention of our people. How do we do it? We just treat people well. It's not rocket science. And I wouldn't say I'm the easiest person in the world to work for. I'd say I'm a fucking nightmare. But you just treat people well. We had a rule at the beginning when we started that wherever people work, we pay them. So we pay people on time. I know that sounds should be normal, but you'd be surprised the amount of colleagues that come to us from other places saying they were chasing for hours that they didn't get and all that. So we just treat people well. We upskill people and we train and we promote within. And that's key to us. Most of our managers within our stores now started as sales assistants. Sandra, who's the general manager, was the fresh food manager. You know what I mean? So she's now the general manager. So she started in fresh food and worked up. So we have a kind of a passport to success. We have a career path. We're in the business. And like Pavel, who looks after our data, manages our shops, came in to manage. Now he's our data manager, and we upskilled him in that field. So we have no problem. I have absolutely no problem investing in you if I think it will benefit our business. And when other colleagues see that career path, they kind of go, it's not a bad place to work. Now listen, we're very strict in what we expect from you. We don't pay minimum wage, we pay well. But we have standards that there's no this is the line and that's it. And if you maintain this, you're fine. But if you don't, we just get rid of you just as quick. So, we have a good team of people there, very strong, and I'm just lucky that they're still with me. So they do a lot of the heavy lifting, I'll be honest, and I would be lost without them. So it's very important for me to acknowledge that it ain't me, it's the people around me that have us where we are in the business.
It's fantastic to do that though, Thomas. And also, it's not luck. You've built this from a good place. And I can really hear that in you talking there. You're definitely a people person. As for pay, I think there's a lot to be said for that. You pay well, you pay on time. And in this day and age, it's shocking to think that we have retail colleagues out there. It's not happening. So I think the respect you have for your people, and yes, you set those expectations
Yeah,
at a really good place. But again, that's why your stores are so well known because you have this expectation of your people and they deliver for you because they
yeah,
enjoy what they do.
yeah.
It's amazing. It really, really is. You've grown the team, as we've said, you've grown the portfolio as well, which is phenomenal. How has the retail group adapted to the changing needs over the years, I suppose, as you've grown of the Irish consumer?
Well, we're very lucky because the Irish consumer is very demanding, which is great because, they keep you sharp, they keep you focused, they're constantly wanting something new, something different. So we're constantly evolving our business. But yeah, we have a core range that we don't change. That's just there. That's what we want. Because our business is not about what I want. It's all about what the customer wants. And sometimes people confuse the day we think we know what the consumer wants, that we're telling them what they want. You've lost it. So you have to try to get the balance between what they want and mix it up with something different and something new. So we're constantly looking at what's going on in the market. I was in London last Thursday. I had a really good day, in and out in the day. So seeing some new ideas and concepts that I think elements of them would work within our stores. We just always look at what people are doing. We're very lucky. We have some of the best retailers. I'm being biased globally in Ireland. We have Dunn Stores, which is probably one of the best supermarkets. I think they're really good. Super Value are very good. Centra are very good. Fresh, the good food market. Noel Smith is exceptionally good. So we have all these good people around us that keep us on our toes. So, you can't get complacent. So we're constantly looking. We challenge our colleagues to come back to us with some good ideas. Some of the stuff we try, if it works, great. We've failed on so many fronts. I've failed on everything that you can think of, but that doesn't stop us from trying. In 2005, we had juice bars. Everyone has juice bars now. We fucking had them in 2005. They didn't work, but we tried them. So we'll bring elements of that back into the business. We're going to do something in Marion Row that will have something like that into it. So we're constantly checking and trying and seeing what our competitors are doing and stealing from them, stealing their ideas and putting their twist in it. No more they're checking what we're doing and that's brilliant, and I love that, that I think it's important as retailers to get out of your comfort zone, get out of your fucking shop and go look at what people are doing. And that's where I'm lucky that I have that in me to go look what people are doing and not to be afraid to admit to myself they're better than me. Do you know what I mean? There's no fucking ego here. They're better than me. Why are they better than me? What can we do to bring ourselves to their standard? And it's brilliant. And that's the buzz I get from it. Seeing what's going on, seeing how we can put our twist on it, and delivering it. And I'm lucky. This is the luckiest thing ever. I have the people around me that know I'm a bit nuts and know that if I send them pictures of stuff, that, I sent them stuff when I was in London, and I know I'll see that in the flesh on the Friday when I come back into the business. So it's brilliant. It's great.
Oh my God, I love this, but it's also so unbelievably refreshing for
Yeah.
someone to admit that the competition is epic in this country right now. But you know what? It makes everyone raise their game, and you're certainly bringing it. And then to go further afield, I'm over in London probably every month, as you say, because you look at what they have, you look at what they're bringing, but what I love about what you've said there, Thomas, is you're bringing it back to what you need for the brand, but also what the customers want. So you're not just kind of carbon copying what's gone before you. You're actually
Doesn't
putting
work.
that twist on it that makes it work for you. And as you said, I love the failure piece because surely testing in the market is the most important thing we can do.
Yeah, I've failed at everything. I've no issue with, I've no problem failing everything. Second shop, disaster. So I have no problem with that. I've opened shops, closed shops. I've got it wrong. I've personally got it wrong. But that's part of 20 years into it. I can openly admit to that. Sometimes we can be afraid of failure and you have a fear of what people will think. No one gives a shit. No one cares. So you just got to make sure you look after what you do and learn from it and minimize the loss, and learn from it. And if you're willing to learn, you will learn and it will help you in the future. I know my failures have definitely helped me in the future.
It's fantastic to hear that. You've talked about, I suppose, the second shop there. Retail expansion, as we know, definitely has its challenges. What's been the toughest part then over the last 20 years of scaling up?
Well, I opened my second one in 2008, an absolute disaster. As I said, there was a managing director of Spar at the time, Peter Keeley, told me everything that was going to go wrong in it. And I was just saying, no, I'll be able to fix it. And he was right. Everything that he said would happen happened in the sense of spending so much time going to it. It was just wrong, but I couldn't wait to get my second one. Do you know what I mean? And it was probably me pushing, 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 didn't do my due diligence correctly. It's everything that it was brilliant in a way because it was the worst business decision and the best. The worst going into it, the best realizing I couldn't fix it and coming out of it. Do you know what I mean? So it was all them things going on, and I learned so much about it. I never made that mistake again. Any other shops I closed were for different reasons, but the due diligence part of it, we're in the process now. I've gone into another shop at the moment. We're hopefully have it done by next week, and the due diligence has taken longer than normal. And I don't care because we're making sure that the mistakes we made 17 years ago we still have that thought process we're not going to make again. And it's fine. And if it's expansion is important, I think, and learning from your mistakes while expanding is important and expensive.
I can imagine. But it's funny, no one talks about that bit. Everyone's talking about expansion or redoing portfolios or whatever it might be at the moment. No one talks about the fact that, A, of course, it's an incredibly costly mistake if it doesn't work, but
Yeah,
also the fact that it does go wrong. And that's okay in retail
yeah,
because, as you said, if the learnings are there, it doesn't matter because you've picked yourself up. The ego, as you said initially when we started this conversation, has well been dropped on the floor at this stage,
yeah,
but
yeah,
you've
yeah.
moved on with the team, which is
Yeah.
amazing.
Well, I do a lot. I can't expand. I probably had one of my best mentors was a guy called Walter O'Hara Jr. He was since passed. He was an Irish American, and he used to come over and he'd be staying in a hotel close by to Marion Row, and he'd come in for a coffee once a month, and he used to explain to me about building the foundation and building your team. So I probably would have had a bit soon a general manager and an ops manager and a fresh food person. And I know people in the business thought I was top heavy, and I probably was for the two or three shops that I had. But I knew I wasn't going to stop at two or three. I knew that I was going to expand more. And we opened up two in one year and then one a following year and all that type of stuff. But I didn't have to add any more to my team because I had the foundation done. So it was a copy and paste, copy and paste. So the foundation of my business was there. It was expensive for probably 18 months, 2 years, but I had to invest in that team knowing that we were going to expand. And where a lot of people make the mistake is that they expand too quickly
Yeah.
and then they're backfilling. Now, I would have never thought of that foundation if I hadn't have got that advice from him. I would have just made the mistakes and expanded and tried to backfill it. So we've got great structure, we've great systems in our business in relation to our people. So our general manager is exceptionally good. Our ops manager is exceptionally good. Fresh food manager is exceptionally good. Data manager, it's a new string to our business, is good. But we also have people underneath that can step up when someone's on holidays, that can step up and slip in to the role that's there. And that's important as well. Like you can't do anything without people, Melissa. You just can't do it. It's impossible. So you need to have that structure of people around you. Do I put a lot of stress and pressure on the systems when we do that? Yes, I do. But then it just adapts, it finds its way. We plan as much as we can. As I said, we've just bought a new place at the minute. We're nearly done with that. And we have a plan in place to put into that. And that's going to stretch us a little and then it'll settle down a bit. So yeah, expansion is needs to be done very, very carefully because there's a lot of pitfalls. But if you have the systems and structures and the checklists in place and the controls and you're watching them and checking the checkers and all these things that people talk about, if you're doing them, it'll just minimize the pitfalls that can happen. So we're lucky that way.
Great advice there, and it's working, as we see from what you have. And I
Sometimes,
know a lot of, I know a lot of your senior team very well, and they are phenomenal. But as you said, structures there, processes, all
yeah,
these boring things that a lot of us talk about, but actually so necessary when you're building a business like that. Within those structures and processes, I'm fascinated to know, and we can't have this conversation without talking about, oh, the only thing people want to talk about right now, AI. Love it or hate it. Where are you at?
Love it.
Brilliant.
Yeah. So I run with a fella up in the mountains every Tuesday, two guys, two friends up in Dublin Mountains, and he's with Microsoft. And he's been drilling into us for the last 18 months AI. All right. And we were kind of saying, yeah, it is such an important part of business at the minute. I was texting somebody back yesterday and I fucking copy and paste the text and put it in the chat GPT and I was like, polish this up. And this what comes back is like, fuck, why can't I think like that? But that's not me. I have to put my twist on it, and that's fine. AI is, yeah, we have AI sitting on top of our system that's monitoring the weather, to look at our pricing and how we order and stuff like that. We use it a lot in our business. We use it an awful lot. We're a fusion with Market Hub. So we have all ESLs in our business. So the information that's there, the data that's there, if you're not looking at it, you're way behind. That's where the market, that's where our business has moved into that space of pricing, of shelf holding, storeroom holding. We now, if it's not selling, we don't order it. And we can do all of that by AI and we're using it. So yeah, I'm a lover of it. It's very, very important. It's no threat to retail jobs, I don't think. We still have to sell the fucking stuff. Do you know what I mean? Someone has to put, no robot's going to pack it on the shelf quicker than anybody else. So it is an important part of our business. If it's used correctly, there's no issues. I'm sure it's like people years ago when they went from just bringing in it, the scanning, the big fear. It's just the evolvement of our business, and I like get with it or get left behind. We're with it. We're constantly looking at it. We're open to new suggestions. As I said, we do a lot with Fusion, and we just see what they do, and they educate us. Some of the stuff they do is not for us. A lot of the stuff they do is applicable to what we do in our business.
We love the group here. Big fan of Fusion on the show. And actually, it's interesting. You were talking about, God, back in the day, people would never have thought about using AI. Back in the day, no one had thought we would have moved away from paper
Yeah,
SELs to
yeah,
incredible technical pieces that not only are good for the planet, but also can hold so much information now, both for you and the customer. So we have evolved. So it's brilliant to hear that you're a huge supporter of AI because
yeah,
I think there is a nervousness out there right now. But again, as you said, if it's layering on top of an already strong business, it's a brilliant way to be.
yeah. I think so, and it's like everything else. You have to move forward. Everybody can't be wrong. It's part of the world now, and we just have to go with it. There's a lot of it that won't suit you, but there's parts of it that will. And it's like anything else, Melissa. You just cut and paste. You take what you feel will add value to your business for you as a retailer, for your colleagues, but for your customer, which is the important part. So all of this stuff, if you take bits from it, add it to it, and use it, it can only benefit your business.
Absolutely, fully agree. So, look, to finish up, then, if you could give one piece of advice to independent retailers out there that want to grow, that almost want to be where you are now in 20 years, what would it be, Thomas?
Trust your gut and go for it. Do it. It's a great industry. Listen to people that have made the mistakes. Look in your field, wherever that is, and look at somebody who has a track record and go and talk to them. I've yet to have anybody in our industry say no to a coffee or a phone call. It is probably one of the most open industries, I feel, that like when we go away, you go into a shop and you talk to people. It's a great industry. So talk to people who have made the mistakes. Listen to people. Trust your gut. Trust what you feel is where you want to go with it. Stay on track with that. And just be conscious that it's gonna be tough. It's gonna be challenging. It's gonna really test you. But just go with the flow of it. But the important advice I give to people is make sure you're doing something for you outside of your business. And that is critical. I know when I opened up Marion Row 4, so it was 24/7 and it affected me. It nearly burnt me out. It's fucking too hard. So you need to have in your day 20 minutes, half an hour where you are not doing your business. You're doing something for you, whether it's read a book, pick up a book, listen to a podcast, go for a walk. So make sure that if you are on that journey that you're still minding yourself, that you're doing something that's for you, you know?
That's a gorgeous bit of advice. And I do think, as you say, especially as we're coming into silly season now, it gets lost. That message does get lost. But as you said, 20 minutes a day is all it will take to give people a kind of a breather, but that freshness of mindset as well. And it propels you forward. And also then
Yeah.
to bring it back to what you've talked about so much, people, ensure your people are doing this at peak times as well, because it'll make such a difference to them and the business and therefore your customers as well.
Our managers are contracted, they can't do more than 5 days. So they're not allowed. So if they do more than 5 days, unless it's a mad week in relation to St. Patrick's weekend or Christmas week or something like that, other than that, they're not allowed. And that's why we retain them, because you have to mind people because it is a challenging industry. It's brilliant and I love it and I'm a big fan of it, but it is challenging. So you have to mind your people. So we write into our managers' contracts 5 days. If you're working 7 days, you're doing something wrong.
Yeah.
When I was a young manager, if you're not working 7 days, you're not going
That was the
anywhere.
old days. Yep,
Yes,
I
yes,
remember.
unless it was seven. And I actually remember I used to come in on my day off to learn. That's when my learning day and a day off. You'd be brought to court if you suggested that now, but that's just the way things have evolved and it's different now. So we make sure our managers get that break in time. I don't believe in working people to the bone or any of that bullshit, it doesn't work. So if you get a nice balance with your people, now I don't walk around clappy happy and all of that. I am very demanding of what I want, but I make sure that there's a balance there that like they're getting that break from me, so which is
It
important.
absolutely is. Oh, I wish retail 20 years ago was like that, Thomas. I really do, that we had proper days off and we had proper amounts of time between shifts and all that jazz. But moving on a happier note, we're obviously coming into Golden Quarter now, which I have no doubt will be busy for you guys. What's coming up next for you and the team?
As I said to you, we're just in the process of closing out a new site at the moment, which is a big forecourt with a store, a Spar store attached with Maxall forecourt. So we're very excited about that because Maxall is a very strong brand that we're with the last 14 years and obviously Spar the last 20 years. So we're happy that we're going to be working with them together. So that's what we're concentrating at the moment. We did our business plan, our Christmas business plan already. So we're already gearing up for that. We've Halloween as well. That's it really. I tend to, for this quarter, just concentrate on maximizing everything we can out of our stores in relation to the seasonality. That's what we do. If something pops up in between that, we'll address it. But we're always looking for new opportunities and new ideas. That doesn't stop. That's a constant thing.
Amazing. Well, watch this space. It's been a phenomenal conversation to have, and I am so grateful that you've shared so many insights. So, if you've enjoyed today's podcast episode, please, please, please do go and like and share it from any of the podcast platforms with your network and tag me, Melissa Moore, and the Retail Tea Break podcast. You can obviously listen back to all 8 previous seasons on your favorite podcast platform. While you're there, hit that follow button so that you get to listen first every week. And of course, you can watch us over on YouTube and subscribe to the Retail Tea Break podcast. Do connect with myself and Thomas over on LinkedIn. I'm going to pop the details of the various stores and how you can hunt him down for some mentoring in the show notes. I'm sure he'll be delighted to hear from you and to grab a coffee. Thomas, it's been an absolute pleasure today. Thank you so, so much for your time and your insights.
Anytime, Melissa. Have a great day.